AITA for saying my terminally ill stepsister can't have my mom's engagement ring. My mom died when I was 7. Before she died, she gave me uncle, her brother, the engagement ring their grandma bought for her, to save for me, if I, 20 meters, ever wanted to give it to a future fiancé or daughter. My dad remarried when I was 10 and his wife had 2 daughters. Evelyn was 12 and Amy was 3. I am not all that close to either Evelyn or Amy, but there's no hard feelings there. Evelyn was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer last month. Her boyfriend proposed to her and she had mentioned wanting my mom's engagement ring because of how pretty it was. Her boyfriend told my dad's wife and my dad's wife told my dad. All 3 of them told me Evelyn wanted the ring and said I would get it back in a few months, when she's gone, but it would be nice to fulfill this wish of hers given the circumstances. I said she could not have the engagement ring, but I would give them a photo to replicate it if they want. They didn't like that I said no to giving her the ring. They told me I am denying my dying sister a family ring. I told them Shay is not my sister and it's not her family ring, it's my family ring. Evelyn has nothing to do with the ring. I asked how she even knew about it and Dad said she had seen photos of it over the years and that he showed her the drawings that were made of the ring and the photos that my mom had kept around. That he thought showing the girls that was a nice bonding moment when they were young. My dad's wife pleaded with me. She even had Evelyn write a letter for me to read saying how much she'd love to wear it and get married wearing it. My answer was still no. I am getting hit from the 3 of them, Dad, his wife, Evelyn's fiancé, AITA. AITA for telling my husband my kids will not be supporting my stepson at sport games anymore. My husband and I have been married for 6 years and together for 8. He has a 15-year-old son Lucas. Lucas's mom died when he was 5 years old. I commento our marriage with Bryn, who is 11 now, and Miley, who is 9. Together my husband and I have Alec, who is 5. So Bryn and Miley are Lucas's stepsisters and Alec is his half-brother. Lucas has this trinket box with a couple of small trinkets inside of it that his mom left for him when she died. He keeps it in his room mostly. Buddha likes to sometimes walk around with it in his hand. I have always told my kids it is not theirs, they are not to touch it unless Lucas says they can and they cannot pester him about it. When we first got married, Miley was really fascinated with it and did want to touch it, but I nipped it in the bud. Since it was so special, regarding the dynamic. Lucas is very closed off from me and the kids. I have always done my best to bond with him, but he is so withdrawn around me, and therapy, which we did when we first got married, did not get us onto a path of being close, though I never expected to be his mom and I don't want that considered. About a month ago we're having dinner and my husband cracked a joke that Lucas seemed to care more about the trinket box than us after Lucas refused to let Alec get a closer look at it. Lucas said, very seriously, that the box meant more than me and the kids and he would gladly trade us to save the box if anything happened to it. My husband was shocked Lucas spoke so seriously and the girls got upset about it. Alec wasn't paying attention when it was said. My husband took Lucas aside to speak to him and I spoke to the girls. They told me Lucas had said that before, that he would trade our lives to save his box, that we better hope he's never asked to save one of us or the box because the box would win. He said this to them on a few occasions over a period of time. They never told me because they didn't know how to bring it up. He told Alec the same as well. My husband said Lucas would need some therapy because he saw nothing wrong with saying that honestly. I told him he was saying it and more tough kids when we didn't overhear. My husband said therapy would get to the bottom of things. A few days later Lucas is telling Bryn that he'd save his friends over the box but not her. I told my husband about it and he said it would be mentioned to the therapist. He had a consultation with one the next day. Lucas argued that he didn't need therapy and just because he doesn't care about our lives doesn't mean there is something wrong with him. I told my husband that given Lucas's attitude toward the kids, they will no longer show up to cheer him on at any sport games or the like. My husband argued we are still a family. I told him my kids do not need to cheer on the boy who has told them to their faces multiple times that their lives are meaningless to him. My husband thinks I am overreacting and I would be wrong to do this. AITA? AITA for assuming my friend was keeping her partner away because I didn't like him when actually he didn't like me? I, 38F, have known Allie, 40F, for 15 years. We first met at work when we're single and the youngest people there. We became good friends and social is together and still do. Allie then met her partner, Matt, who she is still with years later. He does not share her interests. He is an avid football supporter, UK, and very anti the rival football team. Even when he doesn't go to watch matches live, he watches at the pub with male friends. He plays sport with his friends. She's a football widow. She likes going to the theater and TO dinner. He'll go to dinner with her but doesn't much enjoy the theater unless it's a serious play. She likes musicals, and she ends up going with female friends. She says she doesn't mind, they aren't joined at the hip, and she has plenty of friends and relatives who enjoy going to the theater with her, and that she doesn't want to go to football. I wonder. I am known for being brutally honest. When she introduced me to Matt, she asked my opinion and I gave it. I didn't really see them together. I didn't like that he drinks and swears. He has a professional job but isn't very refined, unlike her, and I found him a bit difficult to connect to. At the time she was hurt but got over it and generally just engineered it, so I never really saw him. He was always busy when I organized a party etc. They now have 2 young boys and he looks after them when she comes out with her friends. TBH, more recently my opinion of him has improved. He seems to be a really good daddy to the boys and they clearly adore him. They are also football mad. It took me longer to meet my Edward, but I know Have and we have just got engaged. Ali and Matt both attended our engagement party. Edward actually also likes football and ended up getting on really well with Matt. Later I asked Ali if she'd be up for doing something as couples, as Edward and Matt got on well. She was non-committal. A few weeks later I tried to arrange something and she accepted for herself, but Matt was busy. I explained I wanted to do something with the 4 of us when he was free. She kept stalling. I pushed it, maybe I shouldn't Have, and she said it wasn't a good idea because I didn't get on. I said it was okay, I'd change my opinion more recently, and Edward liked him. She looked surprised and then awkwardly let me know it was because he didn't really like me. She thought I knew. I didn't and I was upset. This was news. I asked her why. She was embarrassed but said he found me judgmental and too much. I don't even know what that means. A few other examples as well. I was hurt and told her I had assumed she kept us apart because I didn't like him, not the reverse. She said that we didn't get on, so what difference did it make? I'm beyond hurt and did react badly and told her some home truths about him. I regret this now and tried to apologize, but she won't return my calls. AITA? AITA for ruining a proposal at a wedding? Sorry for bad grammar. Format, I'm doing this on a phone. So, 27 meters, am a part-time DJ. I mostly DJ for just family and friends. I'm not really a professional. Just do it for a little side cash from time to time. Last weekend I got invited to DJ on the cheap at a wedding for a friend of a friend. At the wedding, while everyone was on the dance floor, one of the guests, we'll call him Kevin, approached me and asked if I could play the song Golden Hour. It was an odd request because at this time all the guests were literally hopping around and dancing, but I was told to take all requests, so did it anyways. When I started playing it, the dance floor started to clear up and then Kevin invited a woman onto the dance floor. They started slow dancing for a bit. A few people joined them, including the bride and groom. Then at that one part of the song, Kevin got down on one knee and I knew right away that he was going to propose. I didn't think it was right, especially because they were in the middle of the dance floor with all eyes on them, and I kinda felt like if this happened I would take the fault because I was the one to put on a romantic song out of nowhere. So instead of letting that happen, as soon as he pulled out the box I started to play Boogie and turned up the volume instead. After that Kevin just side-eyed me and got up and everyone else sat down. After that nothing else really happened and the tension was very thick. After the wedding no one really brought it up and I obviously thought that I wasn't the AmItheAsshole, and the friend that was friends with the bride said that I wasn't. But then a bunch of the family started to message me. It turns out that Kevin was the bride's brother and the family kept asking why I did that. I told them that proposing at someone else's wedding was not appropriate. They told me that I shouldn't have an opinion because I was just the DJ. And now Kevin got publicly humiliated because some people knew this was going to happen, so they were taking videos and live on Instagram so all their friends could see. I responded with, that would have made the newlyweds hurt, but then they came back with, you shouldn't have assumed that the bride didn't want that. That part got me thinking because I was mostly communicating with the bride about arrangements and she was very chatty before the wedding, but after that she kept giving me one-word answers. So I assume she is mad at me, but then again when she paid me she almost doubled the amount for what I was asking for with a generous tip. So I am not sure if the bride actually knew. I think she would have told me. But AITA for just assuming. ETA. A lot of people said to ask the bride and groom. I did, but like I said, their answers were vague. Bride said it was fine, but it was probably just to spare my feelings. I didn't want to push because she clearly had a lot on her mind in the moment.